Japanese. I'm Fuzzy Freestyle. And today, we're going to try and get the truth behind the cat. It's the last truth I have. I've even unlocked the ability to kind of aid myself in a truth search. But I feel like I can get it on my own.
Peppino had apparently managed to confuse the judge by arguing that he hadn't actually stolen a winged horse. He'd only sold it. But wait, where was the prison? The village was empty. Had everybody fled the ravens?
Ooh, what gems do I have now? Elemental resistance level 3. Yeah, I'll use my whip thingy for shields. Let's try this out. Alright. New loadout, new story, same old ravens. Ah, nuts.
Those sheaves were really very well made, weren't they?
Aha!
People were frightened these days. Just 2 weeks past, Renardo had sneaked through an empty town and listened to the ravens caw about the Emperor's new taste in ritual sacrifice. A for effort, D for dead.
Ooh, attack speed level 3. Very nice. Now I have the fastest attack speed ever. Okay.
Renardo thought of the Iblis stone and shivered. He had no business messing with ancient, cruel artifacts. What he needed was his friends around him. Clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose.
Alright, I guess there's this place for the gajillionth time.
A chest that shiny deserved to be opened.
At the end of the day, I know I just go through the well. Shucks.
There was still no sign of Lupino. Not a hair, not a pellet. Was he hiding in the cemetery further down the road? That didn't seem like him.
Oh, where is Lupino? I just don't know. Hey, I got a point.
He was more and more extraordinary.
Getting there. Ah. There we go. I'm bleeding.
Lapino would betray him. But now Renato knew that. What would Lapino do if he knew that Lapino was going to betray him? Well, he'd concoct a crazy scheme, wouldn't he? And use Lapino's betrayal against him, and it would blow up in his face. Maybe he was overthinking this. But that would be a first.
That's what I do with the Pino's betrayal. Whatever I do, I have to choose a new path this time. Hey, Lapino.
Dirty and bloody, Renato finally reached Lapino. The rabbit was practicing his shuffle. Renato recognized the cards. It was Lapino's favorite deck. Oh, I thought you were in danger. I am. The ravens are coming. Oh, the prison thing. Right, yeah, we see this guard owed me 53 ducats, so we made a deal. They're very reasonable people, actually, for weasels. Now, I got a brilliant plan to kidnap Zenobia. We capture Zenobia, we find out what she knows, and that's the whole war right there. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Capture the Emperor's greatest general, who also happened to be a deadly sorcerer and, oh, his only daughter? That would be worth it. On the other hand, he could still get to the core of the Sky Ripper, even if he couldn't get the whole thing. It must have great power.
I gotta take this new path. Just to try it out.
To make the Sky Ripper, the Transcendent Emperor had wrapped an armature around the eye of a god. Bernardo had already let that armature slip away to save Lapino's life. But even its core, the eye torn from a god, surely they could fashion a great weapon from that. The core of the Sky Ripper? Lapino's excited. That's an actual thing that we could just go and get. You've been busy. He sure had. Renato told him all the things he'd been up to. Soon they got to talking about old times, about wages they'd won and lost, and scrapes they'd barely got out of. It was good to be back with his friend. True, the core was capable of terrible, uncontrollable destruction. But this time, he was sure it would work great.
I can get it working. Easy peasy. Nothing bad will totally happen to me. Ever. At all. Nope.
It's beautiful here, thought Renato. It was nice to be back with his old war buddy. All right. Lapino was a traitor. But still, it was good company.
Just know that you're gonna get betrayed. But I have to get to the woman. I hope this doesn't take me away from her too far.
Ooh, sparkly, thought Renato.
Whee! Mohaha. Jump down the well. Mohaha.
There was something sour in the air. Like the earth had ruptured over something that had been fermenting for a very long time.
Ugh.
A dent in those shields.
Ha ha ha. Come on, acceptable. I was pulling. Use my special.
Wrong. All over. He could feel an almost palpable sickness in the air. And if the land could have tumors, they would look like these monstrous crystals. The forest was quieter than it had been. There were insects, a few birds, if you didn't count the ravens. Bernardo smelled sick animals and dying ones. No healthy ones. I'm getting a bad feeling about this. Bernardo thought maybe Lapino was right. Maybe I should have kidnapped Zenobia instead of coming here.
But when I kidnap her, I was supposed to do something better? Mwahaha! See, how is that better style? I don't understand. Whatever. Through the doors. To the core.
As he held the radiant icosahedron,
I'm rocking this.
Bernardo felt queasy. Like dozens of tiny worms were nibbling his insides. It wasn't healthy to be so close to the eye of a god. How could he use it? He could take it to the observatory. The scientists there could tell him how to harness its ancient power. But honestly, Bernardo ached to get away from it. He brought the core back with him to the Farfarer. But honestly, Bernardo ached to be rid of it. Tell you what, said Lapino. I'll take it to the observatory. You attack the Imperial Outpost. The Imperial Outpost was a vital communications node. Taking it could shatter the Empire's ability to coordinate. And it would be full of secret plans and maps and maybe even rebel prisoners. It was a good target for a hero like Bernardo. But what if Lapino lost the core to the Empire? That could be a good thing, couldn't it? Was Bernardo ready to take that risk? Maybe it was better if he brought the core to the scientists himself.
Yeah, I'm not trusting
Lapino
this one.
was a touchy rabbit. Bernardo knew that. You're brave, I know, Bernardo said. But this is what I was hired to do.
Yeah.
Oh, but at least let me run ahead and warn them you're coming. Bernardo wondered if Lapino was up to no good. Or if the rabbit warned the Empire instead. Oh, but Lapino wouldn't betray him like that. Not again. Before it'd been a fluke. Right? They finished the trip to the Nexus in silence.
Not a fluke.
He would offer Lapino a chance to betray him, or not to. His old friend deserved another chance to prove true. All right, Bernardo said. Go.
I felt like this would be a middling path.
As Bernardo watched Lapino vanish on the horizon, he could feel nausea building in him. He felt ill. Could his knee really be aching this much? But how could he have handed the core off to Lapino? That was a recipe for disaster. He'd once met a pirate captain who used hooks to get around his ship. Oh, what was his name again?
Ah, shit. Death. That wasn't perfect. You dick. the fuck? Jeez. These ravens have really stepped up their game. Alright. I can do this. Come on. Woo! Yes. Break those stupid buff boys. No buffs for you. Jerks.
This chest smelled kind of funky. He hoped he didn't get it in his clothes. Bernardo felt worse. All his joints were aching now. He'd been through beatings that felt better than this. So the core had a kind of poison that could harm you without even touching you. That's new. Well, it had power. The rebellion needed something with power. And how was this any worse than a sword wound? Well, a death by sword was sudden and fair. This was just squalid. A piecemeal death, like old age.
Jeez. Alright. Only 33 more ore to go.
Imagine if you built a house of one of these things. Oh, that would be amazing. It would be like having a boat.
Oh.
For some reason, Bernardo remembered a fairy tale his mother had told him about a land where only the apes talked and animals went around without clothes.
That sounds like a frightening world. Well done. Well done. Sweet. Yeah. All right. I don't remember us being on fire.
The observatory was
that's
a
what-
burning hulk. Dead scientists everywhere. Bernardo found the mad rabbit cowering under a desk. The ravens, they must have known we were coming, said Lapino. How did you... See, I was doing a card trick with my lucky deck, and I kind of bobbled the cards, so I went under the desk to gather them up, and boom! I guess we'll have to take the car straight to the secret base. Renata wasn't sure he believed that. But Lapita was talking so fast. He always seemed to make sense. The secret rebel base. Yes. They had engineers there. But wait. Calaveras, the sage in the mountains. Maybe he would know what to do with the naked core.
Screw you,
The core
Pino.
was killing him. He needed help. The
This
sage
bat's gonna end poorly.
Calaveras had given him the maps to find the
Princess is
armature
nowhere
and
to
the
be
core.
found. You can't find the
If
truth
anyone
about something
knew
that's
the
not
true
there.
name of the Transcendent
So
Emperor,
no matter what, you
if
gotta
anyone knew
face
how to
the,
assemble the Sky Ripper,
chase the girl.
Calaveras did.
See what happens.
If anyone could heal Reynardo and render the core safe, at least to its bearer, surely it was he.
But this is not gonna end well. I've spoken with him. He gave me a 1 in 28 chance, and I blew up the world.
The base of the mountain was the only safe place for a landing. He would have to continue on foot, muscles aching. Calaveras was a scholar, not a doctor. Could he really save Reynardo from the poison radiating from the lost god's eye he was so recklessly carrying?
There it
Bye-bye,
is.
life, he thought.
Hello.
Hello, emptiness.
I've done a lot this time around. Ow!
Next time, stay away from the other guy's sword, you know?
Oh, this was not a fun way to die. Even if he survived. No one would write ballads about the fox whose knees ached forever, would they? Not
Cute
unless he
story,
paid
though.
for it. He hated paying for publicity.
Ooh, ice store.
Or I could go that way, he thought.
This seems like a nice way. Eh. Aha! Treasure. More treasure.
A very clever engineer named Elon Muskrat had got his start making floating platforms. Not many people knew that.
Elon Muskrat. Get it? Haha. That's how you do it perfectly.
It was chilling walking through the living mountains. There was always noise up ahead. Insects, birds, the croak and flutter of ravens arranging ambushes. But close by, there was only the breeze and the trickle of melting snow, as if every living thing was holding its breath, his poisonous burden to move on.
What? Oh. Every time I do this level, I always skip over that. I miss that treasure. One day. Before this game becomes too repetitive. I get treasure this time.
Cute. Not really.
There it is. Another death.
Take the goat across the
Dang.
earth, Renato thought. But it was too late.
Alright. I'm gonna get through this stumble. Or not. Okay. Come on, pulling platforms. Yeah, I've wrecked on this before. Blah, blah, blah.
See? With enough leverage, you could go anywhere. Calaveras was a renowned scientist before he was forced into exile. Now, he was practically the last scientist. And he was Renato's last hope.
If anyone knows how to deal with this, it's him. True sword food. Attack enemies at any distance. That will help so much.
The core! Splendid! Croaked Calaveras. Where's the armature?
Right, I was kind of hoping you wouldn't need it.
No, I don't. It's just a professional interest. We've got much better prismatics than the old TE ever did.
So Calaveras was an arcane engineer. He fussed at the core all day. He wrapped it with silver chains, and in front of it, he placed a huge, round ruby, so that it looked like a monstrous, floating eye. Ah, so, what is it?
Yeah, I call it the Oculum. It's my very first death ray.
And it won't poison me?
Oh, no, it's completely safe now.
Anything I should watch out for?
Yeah, try to avoid pointing at any mirrors.
As he loaded the Oculum onto the Farfarer, Bernardo was a little concerned about Calaveras. People who were utterly sure of themselves, he had found, were either experts or horribly wrong. Or both. But Bernardo only needed to fire the Oculum once. He only needed to destroy one ship. The Emperor's ship. And the war was over. Bernardo plunged into the Imperial fleet. He felt the Oculum humming. He no longer felt sick. This was going to be fun. Or at least, it was going to be over.
Never heard this before.
Bernardo resisted the temptation to fire the Oculum until the time came. He could sense its arcane energies yearning to escape the sage's wrappings. But it wasn't eating him alive. So that was a plus. He felt good about himself. He'd saved a friend, he'd helped the rebels, he'd relied on himself, but he'd listened to others. He felt like the right sort of hero. Wise, yet decisive. Calaveras had been so sure it would work. Maybe he could fire it just a few times. No harm in that, right? But only when he absolutely needed to. His sword food teacher used to say power gems were cheating. Stupid old fart.
Usually when he starts thinking stupid shit, then I'm upset for Ronaldo. Oh yeah. Ain't one of these guys. It's time to ride the fleet.
Reynardo's arm was getting tired. The core was no longer eating at him, but he still felt weak. His stamina was shot. But he had the Oculum. When the ravens swarmed him, it would sometimes fire its death ray. It seemed to be warming up too, firing more and more often. Maybe he should let it cool off. Yeah, he decided to stop using it entirely.
One hit. There we go.
Oh, that really ought to put a railing on this thing.
There we go. Damn it.
Reynardo wondered how much his tailor was going to charge for all the holes in his clothes.
Just gotta get through the fire. I think I'm there. The end. Damn it. There's that one hit. Alright. I can totally take care of this. Totally got this. Like the worst run ever. I know it's not going to end in a good story. Right, I forgot. You can just throw them off the edge. Probably the smartest way to do it. Well, hello.
Odd. The Oculum was still hot to the touch. He almost thought it was getting even hotter. Well, that was ridiculous, of course.
Ridiculous.
Anyway,
It's not getting
he'd only to
hotter.
fire it one more time, and then he could chuck the whole contraption into the abyss. And the Emperor's ship was now in range. Bernardo squinted. He could make out the line of ravens protecting the ship. Zenobia in front, conjuring. And on the deck, yes, that was his Imperial Majesty, pacing in his golden armor.
Aha.
Bernardo lined up his shot and fired.
Here we go.
Caught in the beam, the ship burst into flames. The ravens and Zenobia exploded. The Emperor, too, exploded. Bernardo waited for the beam to stop, but it only got brighter, and the Oculum hotter. Frantic, Bernardo pulled the Oculum towards the abyss. The ruby burst into flames. The shiny metal casing glowed, then melted. That was good. Now the core could cool off, right?
Yeah.
Bernardo ran. The blast incinerated him instantly, along with both fleets. The shockwave could be felt across all Erda. That winter, with neither Empire nor rebels to rule them, the islands slid into banditry. And so began
Banditry.
the second age of darkness.
No.
He should go back to some of the choices he'd faced before. Maybe there were new paths that had opened up. Like those doors he was opening up all over the map that took him to new treasures and around his enemies. And he hadn't learned anything new this time. He'd done the same thing twice, yet expected a different outcome.
Well, it was slightly different. And that was story number 18. The fox whose knees hurt. Balance. Wise yet decisive decisions. Uh-huh. We're gonna turn on the lock thing, that's what we're gonna do. It's one of the options. Show the truth finder icon. Sure. I only got one truth left to
The
find.
book's pages fluttered to the beginning once again.
Here we go.
Faster than before, and he fell. The clouds parted over the Isles of Boreas.
Let's see what
It
happens
was time
next
to
time.
choose. The rebellion was in trouble. Ravens were scouting for the secret rebel base. They needed a game changer. Pieces of the Sky Ripper had surfaced. Bernardo knew that using it could go catastrophically wrong. But he was sure he could figure out how to use it safely. Also,
That's the path.
a temple had risen out of empty desert. The Iblis stone was hidden there. It was a dangerous artifact. It could corrupt its user into a bloodthirsty monster. Maybe he could find a way to use it. to take its power without surrendering to its wickedness. And also, his old friend Lapino needed rescuing. Of course,
What's the
Renato had a pretty strong suspicion
point of having the
that
truth
Lapino had betrayed
guiding
Rebellion.
icon if
But
it
could
guides
Renato
you to
really
all the
leave an old
stories?
friend to the Ravens?
Alright, so 2 Lapinos. 1 with the weird gem. And 2 thanks to the stupid eye thing. Alright. Let's try our best. We're gonna get to that cat. We're gonna do the kidnapping better this time. Yeah.
Ah, Lapino.
Stupid Lapino.
Lapino had
Gotten in trouble yet again. We'll do it next time, gamers. Thanks again.